I absolutely love speaking with inspirational people. And today I have the amazing Karla Smith. She is a personal transformation coach, self love expert, and the creator of the Monday Mantra Collective and Morning Mantra Card Deck. We have her this week on the Maverick Makers podcast. I know you will enjoy this conversation. She empowers highly supportive women who often put themselves last to embrace self-care, balance, and lasting joy. Karla's mission is to help women prioritize themselves, unlocking deep self-love and the transformative power it holds. A brilliant problem solver and deep thinker, she brings an optimistic, uplifting perspective that inspires her clients to take bold, life-changing action. Honestly, she is so inspiring. She is just a bright light. And if you're ready for this episode, let's go. Welcome to another episode of the Maverick Makers podcast. I am really excited to welcome Karla Smith to the show. She is a personal transformation coach, self-love expert, and the creator of the Monday Mantra Collective and Morning Mantra Card Deck. Now that is a mouthful, but she is all of those things and more. I adore her. I know you will too. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I love that. It is a mouthful.
Well, that's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
So let's get things started and let's talk about some of the Mavericks that you've maybe been around or, that you emulate in your space. And who have you identified with or inspired you on your journey?
I love this question. So, I would say back in the day when I first, even before I knew that I was going to be a coach, definitely Oprah is at the top of that list for me. I remember when I was like nursing my now 30-year-old, you know, and I would sit there and I was so inspired, obviously by her, she's incredible, but really by the way that she drew people into deep conversation. So she could get people to shift, to say their truth, like just in this really natural and comfortable way. So for sure, she's like, I definitely love what she brought to what is now for me community and understanding how to hold space for people. Um, and then there's just all these strong women in my life who I would say are the reason that can stand today. My aunts, my mom, who I had a really challenging relationship with, and she's passed now, but I really like have a really good understanding of what her life, how hard her life was, and how much she like had to fight through her adversity, all of these things, and what a trailblazer she was. And so I feel like she's definitely now one of the people who I uh, really recognize as where my power came from.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love there's Oprah and mom. Those are amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Those are two good ones.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Thank
Let's
you.
talk about your own Maverick journey. How did you become a personal transformation coach? We can start anywhere you want. Would love to hear some of the backstory in the beginning, maybe, and then take us to where you are today.
Yeah, so the backstory is the whole story, right?
Mhm.
So, I grew up in a really dysfunctional house with, I witnessed and experienced different kinds of abuse, emotional, physical. There was some substance abuse in our family. So, all of those things at a really young age, I'm going to say like 5, really started to groom me into being what I now call I am now a recovering benevolent control freak people pleaser perfectionist, right? So I learned all of those things really young, how to serve people, how to make sure everything was just right, how to try and predict the future, how to like just make everything okay for every person. And I was incredible at it. I would say like, I get like 5 stars for how well I could take care of people. And of course, that took a toll. I did that for, all of my life with my family. And then I got married and did the same thing in that marriage. Have 4 beautiful children. So, there it's a little bit different because you give in a different way, with your kids. But I got so tired. I was so worn out. I was so resentful and like disappointed in people because I gave so much and never received. I have now learned, obviously, I didn't ask to receive. So, like, that's on me. And I take full responsibility for that. But I attracted so many people who just wanted to keep draining me because I kept giving. That eventually led to a huge crash and burn, some of the darkest days of my life. I definitely wasn't sure whether I wanted to be here or not.
Mm.
Uh, but all of that I wouldn't trade for anything because out of that, especially those really challenging days, I, learned, that I had choice. I had choice to live or die, I had choice of who I wanted to love, I had choice about whether or not I wanted to be optimistic, or not. And I could start to navigate how I wanted to live. And it was like a completely fresh start, right? And in that process, I went back to school. I had a degree in psychology already, went back to school and did this life coaching thing. I had no idea what it was because at that time it was just like super woo woo and no one knew really how you could make a living doing it. And I just knew 10 minutes into my first class that this was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And
Mm.
so, yeah, it's amazing. From there, my practice grew into a brick and mortar, which was wonderful. And as COVID came, I moved my business fully online. I had already been using Zoom. So I was like, I had a little bit of a head start and my coaching business blew up. Obviously, in COVID, it was such a time to be supportive of people. And, yeah, and here I am now, coaching people all over the world, which feels kinda cool.
Fuck, amazing.
Yeah.
Can we dig a little deeper and talk about the turning point? What was that pivotal moment where you made that decision after the crash and burn? Maybe it
Mhm.
was the crash and burn. So what
It's
was that moment? And maybe it was a series of events.
yeah.
Was it?
So yeah, so I think, depression is such an interesting, um, beast really because it's, slow burning, right? So, I spent a lot of my days I was highly functioning. I have 4 little kids, a very busy life. I was highly involved in community, um, and those things really fulfilled me, and there was an emptiness fully in me. And so the crash and burn, those days that led up to really deciding to live, um, were, I wanna say, like, absolutely, like, this conversation with myself inside around how am I gonna do things I had no idea how I was gonna do things differently, but how can I? Like, I have to believe that it's possible, and so on the other side, I got a lot of support and professional help, so I think that is key to my, where I am today. And so, really believing that it's possible to do things differently, even though it didn't feel like it at the time. It was very haphazard. I can't say there was like a pivotal, aha, except that I chose to be here. I mean, which is a pretty big deal.
Very big deal. And you
Yeah.
used the word choice, and I think that's
Mhm.
really important for
Mhm.
people to understand, and I can get into the whole, believing in fate and destiny, and I believe in the master plan, but then there's also choice. It's like you are in the driver's seat. So I think
Yes.
once people understand, and that's a hard concept to understand, and I think we have to relearn that sometimes when we're stuck. But that notion of choice, you can always
Choose. There's always a choice.
right?
Right? Because there's always an opportunity to respond in a way, right? There are things we get into that are really challenging, really, really challenging, but we always have a choice about how we respond. And the more self-aware we are, the more we feel like we have choice instead of feeling like everything's happening to us.
And I love that you went from darkness to such bright lights. Like you're
Yeah.
like the on Broadway sign right now. And
Yeah.
everybody around you is just like lifted up by your amazing energy.
Oh,
So I think it's
thank
beautiful.
you. Thank
It
you so
it,
much.
it really is. So how do you help others?
Wow, yeah, so my favorite thing about this gig that I have is that I get to help people see that they have this light in them, what you're talking about. I jokingly say, "I'm not that special," but I know I'm special, but I'm not any different than anyone else. That choice, that ability to go from darkness to light, that opportunity to kinda stand still and reevaluate or evaluate for the first time where you want to be is available to everybody. And so I always start every time I start with a new client, I always start with this bridge question. So if you're standing at the foot of a bridge and on the other side is your life filled with joy and fulfillment and balance and peace and contentment, and there's no obstacles across the bridge, what does it look like on the other side? And almost always people are like, I don't know. Like they really haven't given it much thought about what joy and fulfillment and balance look like because we're in the grind all the time, right? This default setting of ours is just go and not think and just don't analyze or reflect or any of these things because it's life is way too busy and filled with, like, all the tasks that take up, so much time, and so I'll the thing that I help people, I think, with the most is slowing down and starting to reflect on what actually matters to them, so then we can start putting in the pieces that, step by step, baby steps, putting in pieces that lead to that other side of the bridge.
I love that analogy. It's beautiful. It
Yeah,
really is. And it kind of like calibrates you. And I think that exercise is great
mm.
to do often.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. 'Cause the bridge it changes all the time, right? We
absolutely.
get to evolve as people. Yeah.
What's your favorite part of helping others?
Hmm. It's such a privilege, like, being able to watch people move from really feeling low and, um, challenged and, not in control of how they want their life to look, to a place where they feel like they've made choices to create a life that they want to live, right? Their own vision is like the most rewarding thing. I have clients who like came to me at the end of a divorce and were like felt broken and felt like they would never find love, and then they share with me, like, 4 years later, baby pictures with their new partner and whatever, and I feel like that little hand that I had that allowed them to, like, unlock whatever it was holding them back so that they could open their heart, really tap into who they are, and find whatever joy they wanted in their life is, like, such a blessing.
Mm,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank
Do you
you.
have any tips, maybe small actionable tips of what you could share in terms of being that in that place of broken and just giving someone one thing they could do?
Mm, yeah. So the one, I share often that the one thing I did was like agitate what was the norm, right? So for me, I needed to do something that was different than I was doing. And so I got up with the sun rise every day. it was so it's simple. I just had to set my alarm. I kind of checked the night before when's the sun, and I watched the sunrise because for me, that was the like, I want to say touchstone to like every day is a new day. So even if yesterday was really crap, today can be a totally different. I needed to change that because I had this like long standing pattern of like my whole life kind of sucks, right? So this interruption is the best thing. So what is it that could help you feel like, all right, I get to like have a brand new day. It might be, that you wake yourself up early, or it could be that you interrupt it with like a trip or whatever. But I think that's the very first step, is interrupting whatever the long-standing pattern is.
That's a
The
great
sunrise
tip.
is a great one because it happens every day.
Yeah, absolutely. What
Yeah.
a wonderful tip. I gotta actually set my alarm and start doing that. If we get to see the sun these days,
I
so
know, it's
but
true.
that's a whole
But
other story.
even that was okay, right? Like, even when the sun didn't shine, it's like, okay, sometimes it's gonna be dreary, but that's not every day, right?
Absolutely. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do coaching is your calling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
When
Yeah,
did you
like,
think about the
without
calling?
uh, I I was 12 for sure, or maybe a little bit earlier. I always knew that, like, people always came to me for, like, help about things, like, even when I was pretty little, um people would, like, share things with me, and I don't know that I knew exactly what that was about, but I knew, like, by 12 or 13 that I wanted to go into psychology as, like, a degree, and, yeah, I've always known that I was gonna help serve people in this way of being able to, like, talk it out. I love that so much, right?
Amazing.
Uh Yeah. I'm so grateful that I got to have a second chance with love,
Mm.
and my husband makes me laugh every single day. He's my absolute, like, best friend, heart, all the things. We spend so much time together, but I love it so much, and we have blended these 7 beautiful souls who I get to watch grow up, and you see the little bits of, like, what you tried to infuse in them, and then they're actually using it. Like, that is just absolutely spectacular. So, that's where it starts for me for sure.
I love that, and I remember, I think it was last Christmas, you and your husband, or it was a trip, I think around Christmas, you guys were away and you guys were dressing up like Elf on the Shelf. I
Yes.
couldn't stop laughing. I was like, "This is amazing."
Yeah, we're planning, like, how are we gonna do it this year? Because 'Cause we're not going down south before Christmas, so we're like, "Oh, well, we're going to Halifax next week. Let's bring our pajamas and like, see if we could do some weird pictures." It was so fun. That was so fun. Yeah.
I think that's the key. One of the keys definitely to joy is laughter and having fun, so that I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing. Tell
Mhm.
me about, what is the Monday Mantra Club? And then you've got, it's 2 separate things. So you've got the Monday Mantra Club, and then you've got your morning mantra card deck.
Yeah, so the Monday Mantra Collective is really my community, right? It's where I bring people together. It's women focused, and it's like this beautiful place for especially women who are so of service and so supportive of everyone else. So where I was for such a long time, but are so um they know they're not taking care of themselves. They know their well-being is not a top priority, and they're looking for that. And so it's an invitation to show up every Monday. We have a live call, and it's this yeah, it's just this container for people to like practice really being who they want to be, how they want to live their lives, finding ease, finding joy, finding balance, and we do it in these really, yeah, soft steps. Like, I really love the idea of that. You don't have to do a lot to get started. You're just saying your gratitude out loud or whatever. And so I lead, a call each week that focuses on a topic and a practice, which are all based on mantras. And that's really then the segue into the cards. So I have been hosting these calls through COVID. I did it. It was called the a Monday Morning Optimist Club, and now I have the this collective. But throughout the last 6 years, I've written, I don't know, hundreds of mantras because every week, there's a new one. And I thought, oh, these are really great. And they have really changed my life. Affirmations are powerful, powerful ways to change the way that we talk to ourselves because we spend so much time talking to ourselves. So why not put some positive things in there? So these cards are just a practice that is so simple. You just pick a card, read it out loud, do whatever you want with it, write it in your journal, leave it on your shelf, put it by your desk. And it just allows us to start to rewire all of that negative self-talk into something that's much more empowering and positive and optimistic.
Beautiful. They're awesome. I have a few of the cards. I never got a full deck, but that's another story. But I have one of them on my bulletin board and it's amazing. And I'm going to find it. Anyways, not off the top of my head. I'm going to mess up what it says exactly, but it's something about happiness and it's amazing. And I look at it every day. So
Oh,
thank you.
I'm glad. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is working with a coach important?
Right. So one of the things that I feel like is that trying to figure it out all by ourselves is really tough.
Mm.
For some of the reasons I just shared, like we get into our heads so much, we talk to ourselves so harshly as a default, right? And so one of the things I love about my job is that I can help people to start to see yeah, I'm being mean to myself. I want to be more compassionate. I want to start accepting myself as who I am. And so working with a coach allows you to it's literally like a team, right? We become a team. So just like sports, where you're going to be held accountable, you're going to get some practice in, we're going to like really check in with what it is that's holding you back, so there's all of these different components that we put together. And I'm always going to be that champion for you as you make every step that you make. When there's resistance, we're going to talk about it. It's non-judgmental, right? So it's like you get to have someone along the journey who's going to really lift you up, be your cheerleader and champion. I love that word champion so much, right? That's what I
Hmm.
feel like I do. Yeah.
Amazing. And how are you different than traditional therapists?
Yeah. So, I mean, my background's in psychology as well. So I do bring in some of those things, but psychotherapy is very specific and I never, want to feel like, I'm doing the same thing. I think all of it is really important. I feel like for me, my therapy journey was really about a lot to do with the uncovering piece, right? So a lot of time spent on asking questions around like, who were the people in your life, who impacted you, and what are the, how do those things feel, right? And spending a lot of time kind of uncovering the past. um, and for me, that's an important I need to know that stuff. It's really important for the way I love unearthing, but we do that sort of like right at the beginning, and then the rest of the coaching journey is really about putting in place how can I make some changes? What is the transformation that I'm looking to make? What are the actionable steps that I can take? And then feeling like you have someone who's going to really hold you to those things.
Amazing. I love this.
Yeah.
We're going to move into the lightning round. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Let's do it. So whatever comes to top of your mind, just say it. Okay. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lake or ocean?
Ocean. Because there's a beach. Yeah.
Exactly. Where would you like to be other than Canada?
mm. My original answer would be Barcelona, and now because I went on holiday to Italy, it's definitely Tuscany right now. But
Mm,
I love travel. It's incredible. Yeah.
absolutely. Greatest fear?
S- Heights and spiders.
I'm with you on both. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
one
All right.
fact everyone should know about you.
One fact. Wow. I'm trying to like just go into my intuition. One fact everyone should know about me, that I am gonna make you smile.
That is absolutely true. I agree. One thing you're really proud of.
That I have done so much work on myself so that I could get out of being in a really dark place and live a life that I actually love. Yeah.
Amazing. You get to rent a houseboat for a weekend.
Hmm.
What 3 celebrities are you
Oh,
bringing with you?
oh, wow. Michelle Obama.
Mm.
Um, Oprah, if she'll come. I'd love to have to.
Your boat, they have to come.
Yeah, they have to. And mm, maybe Barack, just because I love him too. So, yeah, I'm
Okay.
inviting the Obamas and Oprah. It feels like a really cool boat ride.
That's an amazing
Yeah.
boat ride, amazing.
Yeah, I hate boats, but I would do it anyway.
You can have all the gravel in the world. There you go.
Exactly.
If you could be part of a TV show, so you actually, like, transform yourself into the TV,
Sure.
what TV show are you on?
Hmm. So, am I really gonna say it? So I love where we were talking about it before. I love Emily in Paris because I love being able to like live vicariously through her like incredibly fun fashion. I love all the characters on that show. It's so cheesy, and I know it's not a, necessarily great TV, but I would love to be in Paris or Italy. She's in Italy now, I think. So I'm happy to be Emily on Emily in Paris. Yeah.
Fabulous. I would be in that show too, so
I'll
there you
be everyone's life coach there.
go.
She needs a life coach.
Girl, she needs one, 100%. Most of the characters do, so amazing.
Exactly.
What's your legacy?
My legacy is so my legacy is with my family, that I love them well
Mm,
and help them navigate well. And that's probably my legacy with everything, right? That I love really well. Do you know I love to love people, do you know? And yeah, and then that navigation piece that I really help people find their way.
beautiful. How do you wanna change the world?
Yeah, so I would love to help all women. Like if I could change every woman to know that her life matters, that she gets to be in charge of how she shows up for herself, and that we don't have to be in the hustle for love, for success, for um, accomplishment, that we are enough as we are so that we can all find some more balance. Because I feel like women are run ragged. Do you know?
Oh, I know.
I know. And so it's enough now. So that's my mission really, is changing that with men and women understanding that, but with for women especially.
Beautiful. Last question.
Yes.
What's next?
What's next? Yeah. So I think one of the things I love about my business is that I've built these beautiful sort of these 3 prongs of my business. So, I love my coaching practice one-on-one. I love the community that I've built, and I love hosting retreats, and so that's definitely the next, I hosted my first one since the pandemic in September, and so that's definitely the next big project on my sort of, work list, is to get the 2nd annual, retreat up and running.
Well, this has been a fabulous, inspiring, happy conversation. I have so much
Thank you.
joy, so
Yeah.
thank you. Can't wait to see this retreat happen. Make sure you let me know about it.
I will for
And
sure.
what a thrill. Thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show.
you. Oh, it's such a pleasure.
The Maverick Makers podcast is sponsored by Maverick Makers Content Creation Collective. We fuel your content pipeline through video, photography, design, and editorial. Let's connect to your audiences and make more sales. Learn more at maverickmakersco.com.